MiFID 2 and MiFIR is obviously a substantial increase in the reporting requirements versus MiFID 1. Could you expand on that and tell us how much of an increase is actually envisaged?
Looking at MiFID 1 and comparing that with the MiFID 2 requirements, it becomes obvious. So, for example, in MiFID 1, it was 24 data fields that had to be reported. It was instruments that were traded on regulated markets and MTFs. It was all equities and some exchange-traded equity derivatives. How's that changed under MiFID 2? We've seen more than a doubling of the data fields that have to be reported. We've seen the creation of a new trading facility, or organised trading facility, which is primarily for use by OTC derivative instruments. And in addition to that is the application to basically all other financial instruments that were not covered under MiFID 1. So this is a very comprehensive transfer of the framework for MiFID 1 into the remaining parts of the market, including there will be additional reporting requirements or reporting obligations on some entities who've not traditionally had to report. For example, MiFIR will apply to the non-EU branches of EU firms. So there is a little bit of extraterritoriality coming in there.
And it may encompass buy-side firms and corporates in some circumstances as well.
It may well. Basically, this is the final piece in that jigsaw to try and bring in everything that was not covered by MiFID 1. So I guess you can regard MiFID 1 as a template that's been applied to a broader market segment.
Would you describe it as an organic extension, or is it something that's more radical?
So I know this is something that we disagree on, in the sense I think it is an organic extension. Clearly, there are some material changes, but basically because you are taking the template that applied under the original MiFID and applying that to a broader range of instruments, market participants. My view is that this is a logical and organic expansion of the existing MiFID 1.
And it is coherent with the G20 objectives about market transparency and stability.
Yes. Investor protection, stability, transparency, the whole thing.
Right. Yeah. And is it possible to gauge the readiness of the market? I mean, how long have we been talking to our customers about what we're going to provide in this segment?
So I took over as the CEO of the Trade Repository just over 2 years ago, and the conversations had already started at that point in the background. Now, the way that we've chosen to address the MiFID requirements is we, as an institution, what we're all about is reducing cost, reducing risk in the marketplace. And one of the things that we didn't want to do was simply duplicate the developments that other people were executing, because that somewhere in the marketplace that gets paid for.
Right.
We've seen that with the trade repositories. So we have 6 trade repositories. So somewhere along the line, market participants have paid 6 times for the development of the same functionality.
They're not paying us 6 times, aren't they? But there are 6 trade repositories.
Correct.
Yeah.
And we took, I think, a brave decision, which was we weren't going to add to those costs. So we looked around in the marketplace for a partner that we could work with. And as a result of the due diligence that we went through, we identified Univista, part of the London Stock Exchange Group, as an appropriate partner. They were already a very experienced provider of ARM services, authorised reporting mechanism services. And so we have worked with them to act. We act as a point of concentration, I guess. So you can report your EMEA business to us, you can report your MiFIR business to us. We will process the EMEA business and we will pass on the MiFIR business.
Right, so we're acting as a consolidator.
Correct.
Yes, okay, thank you.
Thank you.